Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're looking at play props here on a Friday night to end your work week. Got a 10-game slate to choose from. Feeling pretty good about these picks. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. We're bringing you these videos each and every weekday this regular season. Also want you to head to thelines.com. That's where we have our great written content up for you guys all season long, and our odds finder tool that you can use to make sure you're getting the best juice back on all these bets and NBA play props this season. Nate, let's go ahead and jump into your first NBA play prop for tonight.
Yeah, I mentioned in the game video that I like the Nets at basically no spread in Toronto with OG Anunoby out, which does mean Kevin Durant will have an easier time. But I'm going with Kyrie Irving just because his prop scoring all the way down at 23.5, while Durant's expected to get about 30 a game. And Kyrie has also been getting 30 a game in his last three with a 125 offensive rating. He's been much better on the road this season with a 121 offensive rating. Not that he's been bad at home. He's averaging 24.5 at home, which is still more than this prop. 26.7 though on the road, and his last three versus Toronto, getting 29 points per game on a 29% usage. Very nice shooting splits. He's a plus 45. He's a big reason they've won their last three against the Raptors. Just pretty simple to take the points. He is filling it up with peripheral stats as well. Recently, 13 rebounds, assists per game. So you can tack that on if you want slightly better odds for 10 more peripheral stats. But, I'm looking for Kyrie and KD to both probably go over 30 here. Maybe in a Nets win if you want to find some crazy doubles to get some plus odds there. But I think the safest bet before you even go to the game line is Kyrie Irving, 24 points.
Yeah, Kyrie's doing his thing. Like you said, we talked about it plenty in that game video as well, and why they're playing well in their last 9 games or so is because Kyrie's back and just hooping. He's a bucket as soon as he walks on the court. We've talked about it. So when he's playing well, this prop usually is a bit higher. And the way that these two guys have been playing and accruing roughly 58% of the team's points per game, maybe a bit more like between the two of them. That's absurd, right? Because they're in their last 9, they're averaging combined like 58 points and whatever. So a little bit less than that. But either way, moving on to the next one, I'm really happy to talk about my guy Jay Randle because there's been some Jay Randle slander over the course of the last, the beginning of this season. 38.5 PRA, and he's been on a tear as of late. Minus 120 on FanDuel for that. You can also get 2.5 threes for him at plus 106. And you're saying Julius Randle to make 3 threes. But the logic there would be the last 4 that he's played. He's attempted 10 threes a game, making 4 of them in that span. Obviously good for 40%. And the 4 there would get you over the 2.5 you need. They just played the Bulls as well in a really, really good game that went to overtime. He actually had this prop before overtime, but his numbers were incredible before that at the end of the game as well. 31, 13 boards, 7 assists, and he was diming because he was so aggressive. And I watched every second of that game. I've been watching a lot of Knicks lately because Jalen Brunson is fast becoming one of my favorite players. And Jay Randle is just vibing off of that hugely. He knows like the pick and roll that they have going is absolutely beautiful. The way that he's sealing guys and being aggressive. The only shots that Jay Randle is taking right now are wide open threes, driving to the lane, post-ups, and the little baseline jumper that he loves. Everything else is kicking off of that stuff and screen and roll for other guys to help them get open as well. I really like what I'm seeing from him, and he's had really good success against a Bulls team that has no interior presence. He's just throwing Patrick Williams around. Vooch isn't doing anything to stop that. In his last 4 versus this team, he's averaging 25 a game with 12 boards and 5 assists. That also includes a game where he went 1 for 9 with 5 points, 1 for 9 from the field with 5 points in that game. Just a complete dud for him, and still averaging the 25 and 12 a game in his last 4 in that time. The other 3 just surging, right? So, I just love what I'm seeing from him right now on the team that has the biggest win streak in the NBA.
Threw that in at the end, yeah. I'm a little worried about Brunson repeating his 30-burger against Alex Caruso, who is a capable defender. He's probably the only person you respect on the Bulls in terms of their individual defense. I mean, Patrick Williams, he could become a nice young player, but obviously Randle's ripped through him. Yeah, those other 3 games are like 30-point flirting with triple doubles, and he's being a point forward right now. they're running everything through those two lefties. And I'm staying in this game. I don't know if the Knicks, it's funny that they're underdogs here when they were kind of looking like all the momentum, and then they did handle business in Chicago, but beware the old home and home, I guess, that the NBA is really fond of using this year. Because I think the Bulls will be clapping back tonight in the rematch, and that means more from DeMar DeRozan, who, they've been just playing straight shootouts in their last 4 games. Pretty bad defensive rating, but they're scoring 125. He's getting 30 points per game on a 30% usage rate in those 4. In his last 4 against the Knicks, 33.5 per game. And he's just a +1, though, despite the efficiency. So that means these games have been close. That's why Julius Randle also coming along for the ride. And DeRozan tied with Damian Lillard for most clutch points per game in the league, behind, of course, the immortal Delano Banton, who played 11 minutes for Toronto this year and scored 11 points or something.
Well, look out for Delano Banton. Really got to put those filters on your searches, Nate, so you make sure you get guys that have played a decent amount of minutes to be warranted here. But yeah, C2C player props MVP, DeMar DeRozan, DDR, 26.5 points. Another really good matchup. RJ Barrett fouled out last game because DeMar DeRozan was just giving him a homeschooled class of how to play basketball within 17 feet of the basket. Just way more athletic than everybody trying to guard him. Very, very aggressive. A lot of points in the paint on top of that mid-range for him. So, yeah, this is another game that if there's going to be anything close to the points that were last time, they're playing at pace, both these teams, then, yeah, you got to like DeMar to be able to get his on a team that's scoring a lot right now, especially against these Knicks. So let's finish things off with a terrifying prop. That if you have the balls to take it, come for the ride. Anthony Davis under. And I'm including points in that. So it's just a bad matchup. It's the Nuggies, and this is an opportunity where he's got a very high prop, both points and the points, rebounds, and assists. So the points are at 28.5. The points, rebounds, and assists is at 41.5. Not getting too many dimes, as he should not be. Every time he gets the ball, he should be looking to score for this team to be successful. But that's why I'm happy to throw the assists in there to get the under and add a few more to it. His last 7 regular season games versus Denver, and specifically Joker, 21.9 points per. And I say Joker, but Aaron Gordon's be guarding him. But the threat of Jokic, whose defensive rating has dropped ever since for the last 3 years, every year, is also a huge part of this. 22 points a game, 21.9 in the last 7 that he's played them. 9 boards. That's all in 32 minutes a game with a 28.5% usage. So that's what he's getting right now. For the Lakers over the course of the last 10 games, where he just has some terrifying totals in there that make you wonder if. But you've got to see who he's playing against. The only one that's super legit is against Joel Embiid, where he came in, but that was a different game as well, where it wasn't Joel Embiid guarding him, right? It was mostly Niang and PJ Tucker, which are no matchup for him. But with Aaron Gordon at 6'9", a solid defender, someone who's had some pretty good success against him, and centers in general are not doing well against the Nuggets for that reason. They're top 10 in limiting centers in all points, rebounds, and assists. Top 5 in rebounding, top 5 in limiting opponents rebounding and second chance points. So they're doing their thing on the boards. Is Denver, and I think that'll be a problem for Anthony Davis, and to get all the way up to 45 points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, the number's higher than you thought originally in terms of the peripherals. If we feel that strongly, do you just want to take the under on rebounds, assists, 15.5? They are kind of baiting you with some of these under. Like you said, he basically is getting no dimes at times because he's just turning and facing. So it's plus 135 on some books for under 2.5 assists. And if you think, it's likely enough that he's not going to get 2 assists, then under 15 rebounds. It takes a monster effort to do that, especially when these teams are expected to be going up and down and scoring. Like the Nuggets had a ridiculous efficiency run the last few games. There's not going to be that many rebounding opportunities if Jokic and company are just putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah, they're playing slowly, and that helps. And Nate is sort of referring to very gently the fact that I was terrified to go under 28.5 just points for AD. Nate was like, what do you think about under the points? And I was like, well, let's throw the rebounds and assists in there because I'm terrified of taking under 30 points for Anthony Davis right now, no matter how much he's been limited against the Nuggets. So you're making some sense. If you want to find some better juice on my logic here and my fear of just under on the points, then go ahead and feel good about the under on the assists and the rebounds. I'll say on FanDuel, or excuse me, on DraftKings, it's 12.5 rebounds is that prop. Under is even money. over is even money. So they are not expecting him to get 12 rebounds quite as much, I would say, as of right now. And that's not where the action is. It's definitely on the under for his boards against a team that, like we said, has limited him in the past and limits their opponents in general. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along, coming at you each and every weekday this regular season. So until we see you next, happy betting.